The facts are indisputable. Black is beautiful. Brand new day. Back to business as usual. See, we built empires and engineers and scientists. Gave a glimpse into the past through Egyptian hieroglyphs. Black is beautiful.
This is The Real Deal with Emiel, brought to you by MHG, your local year-round trusted insurance partner. Let MHG help you for free. Deal with Emiel, and I am your host, Emiel Cleaver. This show is produced by Phillips West Public Relations and Communications and sponsored by MHG, your trusted insurance partner. MHG has an open enrollment center located on the corner of 18th and Vine. Today, my guest will be calling in from Washington, D.C. Dr. Willie Jolley, named one of the top 5 motivational speakers in the world. Mm-hmm. His motivational success building strategies have been credited with helping to take Ford Motor Company from the brink of bankruptcy to $1 billion profits. He has consulted with numerous companies, including Walmart, Marriott Hotels, Coca-Cola, Verizon, GM, and others. Some of his popular topics are team building, setbacks into comebacks, change management, achievement, and leadership. Dr. Willie Jolley, are you on the line now?
I am on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right. Fantastic.
I want to thank you for taking time to call in from D.C. Now, I was reading that you started out a jazz singer.
I did. Well, first, I always like to start my interviews the same way so people who have heard me know that I do. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it, forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but an eternity is in it. I am excited about being on with the real deal with Emiel. So thank y'all for having me, Emiel. And thank you for having me on and everybody in Kansas City. So here's the deal, Emiel. I love that. So I was a nightclub singer, and I made my living for many years in nightclubs, singing all over the Washington area on the East Coast, Atlantic City, and had built one of the top nightclub acts in Washington, D.C., had won the award Best Jazz Singer, Best Entertainer, Best Performer. And then one night I went in, club owner said, "We want to talk to you after the night's show." I told the guys in the band they want to talk. We've been selling out for 6 months. We got standing room only audiences. We finally going to get our raise. Walked in his office. He said, "We loved you, and you guys have made us a lot of money, and that's why it's hard for me to tell you what I got to tell you." We decided we got to get a better return on investment, and the only way to do that is with a lower the cost. When the club is full, is to lower the cost. The band's the biggest cost. And there's something else going around the country that's filling up nightclubs that's cheaper than a band, and we bought a karaoke machine. And I was devastated. I was just crushed because I'd worked so hard to build their club from nothing to the number one spot in town, and I got fired, replaced by a karaoke machine. But you know, Emiel, a lot of people in America and Kansas City and every other place are dealing with that same situation. They worked hard, they gave their all, and some numbers deal happened. It just happened. It's not personal. It was just a numbers. They got caught up in the numbers, and they got fired. They got released. They got downsized, and that's what happened to me. And I decided that day I got to change my life, and I was not going to let anybody else determine my destiny from that moment on. And I took a job with the school system as a drug prevention coordinator, talking to little kids about staying away from drugs. And it was during that year I discovered an ability I didn't know I had to use words to communicate. In front of the little kids, the teachers would say, "Can you come to my teachers group?" In front of the teachers group, someone would say, "Can you come to my church?" And then someone at the church would say, "Can you come to my company?" And then Les Brown heard about this guy who was a singer, who was also a speaker, who was mixing music and motivation, speaking and singing, and he invited me to be on tour with him and Gladys Knight for their music and motivation tour, and that allowed me to get some national name recognition, and I got a little radio show as a result of that. And the radio show caught on, got popular, got syndicated, which led to Sirius XM, where I am now on every week, and I have the #1 motivational show on Sirius XM across America. That led to television with PBS and CBS TV. And then that led to books. And my books started coming out. It Only Takes a Minute to Change a Life became a national bestseller. Then the one that most people know me for, Setback as a Setup for a Comeback, became an international bestseller. And Turn Your Setbacks into Greenbacks, and Attitude of Excellence. And all that led to Ford Motor Company calling me in 2006 when Ford was on the brink of bankruptcy, and they were trying to turn their company around to keep from going out of business. And I worked with Ford in 2006, 2007, and 2008. And as you might remember, in 2009, Ford was the only one of the big three automakers to be able to reject a government bailout. And they went from losing $1 million a month to making $1 billion a month over those 4 years. And what changed? Not the economy. The economy went down, in fact, not the circumstance, but just their thinking, their attitude. And that's what I help organizations and people and groups around the world do now, is change their thinking, change their attitude, and look at the possibilities, and then go out and take action on those points of interest that they've set goals for, and help them to achieve it. So that's what I do, Emiel, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to be on with you and talk to your folks. And man, I've been reading up on you online. Man, you're a dynamic young man.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you are the same. Now, you work with a lot of big companies, and that's pretty impressive, Ford Motor Company. But what advice would you have for a smaller company or just an individual who may not have the resources, who wants to start a business or who wants to get into business?
The same principles work for the little guy as it does for the big guys. First thing you got to work on, if you're going to change your life, change your future, you got to work on mindset. Mindset was what changed my life. Okay, I'm a broke, busted nightclub singer, get fired and replaced by a karaoke machine. Don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Don't know how I'm going to get out of this mess. I've got bills and I'm broke. I'm even in a zero. I'm in a deficit brokenness. Not only am I zero, I'm below zero. I'm down. I'm zero and still owe people.
Yeah, that's bad.
Somebody gave me, though, a cassette tape and a book. The cassette tape was a tape called The Strangest Secret.
Earl Nightingale.
And it changed my thinking. And then I started listening to cassettes and started listening. There was another one that Charlie Tremendous Jones, I listened to it. He said, in 5 years, you'll be the same person you are today, except for two things. The people who you meet that will inspire you, and the books that you read that will empower you. And I said, oh, wow. He said, just try it. So I started trying to get more people I could meet who would inspire me. Many of them I couldn't meet personally. I met them through video or audio tapes, VHS or cassette tapes. And the books. And someone gave me that book. The first book I read was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it said at the top of that book, it said, this book could be worth $1 million to you. And I have found out over the years that was not a lie. That was the truth. That book has been worth more than $1 million to me. And so I'm very grateful that I've been able to read lots of books. I'm on an average of about one book a week now. But I encourage people to read at least one book a month, a self-help book. Read Think and Grow Rich. Read The Power of Positive Thinking. Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read Live Your Dreams by Les Brown. Read The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. Read The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. Just start a reading program. There was a quote I heard some years ago that if you ever go into a $10 million home, now the person who bought that $10 million home, did they buy it because it had a library? Well, first of all, if you could get a $10 million home, it always has a library. Now, the person who bought that home, did they buy it because it had a library, or did their library allow them to buy it? What it is that you're putting in your head. Benjamin Franklin said the greatest investment you can ever make is what you pour in your head, because what you pour in your head will produce dollars that you can pour in your wallet. And so you got to put money into you, invest in you, grow you. So first is mindset development, and then skill set development. Work on some skill set. I see with you, you're on the radio, you're a communicator, you're a filmmaker, you're working on skills. And so I encourage people to work on them skill sets, but you got to work on the mindset first. then skill set second. Because you can get it out of order, and it can have a devastating impact on your life. Case in point, we see a lot of professional athletes who work on skill set before they work on mindset.
Right.
So they work on catching a ball, shooting a ball, hitting a ball, whatever. And I'm with them. I love seeing every NFL draft day new African American millionaires being minted. Okay, I love seeing that. But I'm hopeful that they have worked on that mindset before they get that money, because statistics show that over 70% of professional athletes are broke 5 years after they retire, because they worked on the skill set and never worked on that mindset. So work on mindset first, then you work on skill set. And when you do that mindset, skill set, and then you make a commitment to pursue excellence. My son is an attorney in New York City, and he went to Howard University Law School. And when he left to go to New York, I said, here's what I want you to do, son. I want you to if they give you $1, give them $2 worth of work. If they expect you to be there at 9 o'clock, be there at 8:45. If they expect you to stay till 5, stay till 5:30. Stay a little longer, do a little more. If you do more than you're paid to do, one day you'll be paid more for what you do.
Right.
Okay?
That's some great advice. I want to invite our listeners, if you have any questions or comments for Dr. Willie Jolley, please give us a call, 576-7400. That's 576-7400.
Let me give everybody a little gift, by the way, because I mentioned about somebody blessed me when I was broke, busted, and disgusted, gave me an audio and a book. And they changed my life. So I'm going to bless some people here today, because I think as you give, so shall it be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, overflowing. And I also believe that if somebody blessed you, just pass it on. It doesn't have to be back to that same person. Just pass it on. So if you go to williejolly.com/free, FREE, williejolly.com/free, anybody who's listening, you'll be able. I'm going to give you a free copy of the book Think and Grow Rich, a digital copy. I was one of the Napoleon Hill faculty members last year, and I'm able to now give that away to friends. So go to williejolly.com/free and get your free copy of Think and Grow Rich digital, so you can put it on your computer, your iPad, your iPhone, whatever, Android, whatever you got. And then also go to williejolly.com/famous, FAMOUS, famous, williejolly.com/famous. I told you that one of the things that can change your life is who you meet, who will empower you and inspire you. One of the people who inspired me and continues to inspire me is Wally Famous Amos. I had him on my Sirius XM show. You talk about an incredible interview. It was life-changing. And so I want to give that to everybody who's listening as well. So go to williejolly.com/famous and williejolly.com/free. And you spell Willie Jolley, WILLIE, JOLLE, as in Edward, Y. So the E is for enthusiasm. WillieJolly.com with the E. All right.
Well, thanks for those gifts, and we'll make sure we give that website out before the show is over.
Good.
Now, you were just saying something, and it kind of made me think. Most people who are successful had people who were around them who encouraged them as a kid, a father, an uncle, a teacher. What advice would you give those kids who maybe don't have those people around? I mean, they don't have anyone who shows them the way. How could they seek someone out?
You know what? I think you're right on. That a lot of time we are mentored by parents who encourage and inspire. But what happens if you don't have a parent? Then you find surrogates. Okay, you find surrogates. Now you can find surrogates, just like I said just now, that you actually know in the flesh, people who you meet, somebody who inspires you. Go up to them and ask them for questions, ask them for help. Let me tell you what I've learned over the years, and this is important, that successful people do something that unsuccessful people won't do. They ask for help. They ask for help. They ask for advice. They ask for insight from people who are doing what they want to do. So ask somebody who's doing what you want to do for help. And just say, hey, I want some advice from you. The other thing is that if you can't meet them in the flesh, meet them virtually. You got YouTube. You got TED. Go and meet them and listen to them. Do a brain transplant. How do you do a brain transplant? Read a book. That's how you do a brain transplant. You take somebody who has written a book, put their thinking on pages, and you take that book, you read it, you absorb, and you take that stuff out of their brain and put it in your brain. And that's what starts to change your thinking and change your actions. And so I'm excited. Now, by the way, before I go any further, I'm coming to Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. When are you coming?
I'm coming on September the 12th. The National Speakers Association, which is the premier speaking organization in America. I am a former president of the Washington chapter and a former board member for the National. And there's a sister in Kansas City named Carolyn McCall. I think she's the first African-American president of the chapter there. Mm-hmm. And I saw her at the convention this summer for the national convention, and she said, you promised me when I became president you would come to our chapter. And I said, I did promise. She said, I'm hoping you'll stay to it. I said, when you hear me, when I give you my word, it's done. So she said, well, that's great. So we found a date which would work with my schedule, September the 12th. I'm going to be in Kansas City. And and we're going to open it up. It's usually for speakers, but I called her and said, hey, can we offer it to some of the folks who might be listening who want to get into this multi-billion-dollar industry, mm-hmm. who might have a gift for gab, who might have an ability to communicate, who might want to make some money while using their speaking and their communication skills to build a business. Like I've been able to build a business for the last 24 years where my wife and I travel around the globe giving 1 hour, 2 hour speeches, and they pay me. I get paid more now in 1 hour than I used to make in one year. So when I was working for the school system, I get paid more in 1 hour than I used to make in a year. So I want to say it's possible, and I want to help others to do it. So I'm going to be there. It's September the 12th, 9 to 1 o'clock. I'll be in your beautiful city. And if you want information on how to register, it's limited. She already told me it's almost sold out now, so don't hesitate. It's NSA, National Speakers Association KC.org. National Speakers Association KC.org, and you can register there, or you can call her if you need some information. Her number is 816-447-2198. 816-447-2198.
Now you said you were inviting people who want to speak.
I'm inviting people who might want to do it. Until it's sold out, which will be soon if they don't move quick. Uh-huh. We're gonna open it up to the community because I know there's somebody out there who was like me, uh-huh. who needed a mentor, who needed advice, who needed somebody to encourage them, and they could be the next one, the next big one, but they just needed a opportunity, a chance, a break, as we used to call it in the music industry. And this might be the opportunity to sit and listen to what I did, how to help you build your business, how to help you build your brand, how to help you build your speaking industry, how to help you market, how to find out how to get paid. A lot of times people go take Toastmasters course. I think that's fantastic. I took one. And Toastmasters teaches you how to speak, what to say when you stand up, how to give a good presentation. National Speakers Association teaches you how to get paid to give that good presentation.
Right. Now, I see that you also work with a lot of youth. What are some of the messages that you give to them? I mean, it's a totally different world than when I was younger, and you also. But what kind of messages do you give to our youth?
Yes, I started my speaking career as a youth speaker, and for the first 5 years, I was on fire across America every day, speaking 2 or 3 schools a day. In fact, in 5 years, I did over 1 million young people. And after I started graduating to the corporate scene, I did a PBS special so we could take that message that I had honed over the years for youth and take it to television so we could still get and reach and access those young people. And that youth video, Dare to Dream, Dare to Win, if you go to my website, williejolly.com, you can see an excerpt from it. It's the #1 selling youth motivational video in America. And I know many parents have kids at home who many times think they know more than their parents. And those kids, for some reason, cannot hear from their parents. But it's amazing how somebody can come along who is not their parent and say almost exactly what their parents have been saying, but say it with a little different flair. And these kids get it. Staying away from drugs, staying away from negative people, pursuing academic excellence, making wise choices, and also being willing to grow. So here's what I would say to young people. One, that your future is designed by who you hang out with. Okay, whoever you hang out with is who you're going to become. So if you know you're hanging out with somebody who is going nowhere, doing nothing, then know that if you hanging out with 9 fools, you're going to be number 10. All right,
Right.
just know that.
Right, yeah.
Just what it is. And so you got to watch who you hang out with. Also, hang out with people who encourage you. Most people hang out with people who tell you what you can't do. Girl, you can't be a cheerleader. You're not pretty enough. Man, you can't be a basketball player. You too short. Man, you can't be a doctor. Your people don't make enough money sending you to medical school. Man, you can't be a lawyer. You ain't got it like that. You know, we hear people talk about the friends who you hang out with who discourage you rather than encourage you. No, those are not the people you want to hang out with. You want to hang out with people who will encourage you. Say, why don't you try to cheerleader? You might make it. Why don't you try on the football team, basketball team? Why don't you try for the debate team? Why don't you try for the academic excellence club? We all should be in that club. So here's what I say. You got to hang out. Who you hang out with is who you become. And so what we want to encourage young people to do is to start dreaming big and then going after those dreams. And you're never too young to start working on your goals or dreams.
Right. Now I also see that you have YouTube videos about negativity and excellence. Is that something that you do on a regular basis? If people want to see you or hear your motivational speeches, can they go on YouTube? Do you put that out weekly or?
Well, we got so much content that we're putting out that some of we can't even get to, because I was on CBS TV here in Washington for 3 years with a daily, every day, a different message, and I own all of that content, and we're putting that out on my own. We're going to create my own network. It's called Jolley TV. It will be coming soon. But in the meantime, you can go to YouTube and get my messages. That we're always putting new content up there, as well as my Facebook page. Every day you get a positive motivational message from me. I have a show here in Washington on terrestrial radio that precedes Steve Harvey in the morning, and it's a 1-minute message that is the number one show, and it's a feature in its time period in the morning across D.C. And every day we take one of those messages, put them on Facebook. So go to my Facebook page, get a daily message. Also go to my YouTube channel. I got a whole channel on YouTube. Go to my website. If you're interested in faith-based messages, go to jollygoodnews.org. jollygoodnews.org. That's my faith-based message. I've got my doctorate in theology. So I have a message also for those who are interested in faith-based messages. But we're trying to look. This is about changing people's lives for free, okay? Mm-hmm. What we want to do is just find a way to do it for free, because it really is true that the more you put out, the more you get in. The more you give, the more you get. It really is true. So that's why we always make a commitment that we always every day saying, what can we do to help somebody? What can we do to empower somebody, to inspire somebody, to uplift somebody, to bless somebody? Because it really does come around. And if you want a blessing, you got to be a blessing. If you want to have some friends, you got to be a friend. And you want to make a difference. If you want a difference made in your life, you got to make a difference in others.
Now, Dr. Jolley, what would you say to people who say, well, I don't have any training or I don't have any skills. I can't, there's no way for me to make it out from the condition that I'm in right now because of the skills? Absolutely.
Here's what I say. Look at me. I had no skills other than being a singer, okay? And that wasn't going well. That was not doing well at that moment. Right. And so I worked on my skills. Where you are is not important. Remember that Michael Jordan was cut from the basketball team for not being good enough. Mm-hmm. Okay? He was cut in high school from the basketball team, but he decided to work on his skills. It's a matter of making a commitment to get better. Every day, get better. Just do a little bit more. Work on something. Work on a part of you. It does not matter where you start. It only matters where you end. So just make up a commitment that, okay, I don't have no skills now, but I can work on it. I'm going to get that book, Think and Grow Rich. I'm going to his website. I'm going to get that book free. I'm going to change my thinking. Okay, I said work on mindset. Then I'm going to work on some skill sets. Okay, maybe I can talk. Maybe I can start to develop some skills as a communicator. Okay, I'm going to go to that seminar. I'm going to make a point. I'm going to go to that seminar. I'm going to hear this man live. I'm going to get his books. I'm going to meet him. I'm going to be one of his students. I'm going to learn from him. You can work on this. Whatever it is, you can work on it and become better. I was not a good speaker. I wish I could tell you that I got up my first speech and it was dynamite. First, if somebody taped that thing, I would want to find it and buy it and burn it. Because look, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But you cannot be great if you're not willing to be a failure. If you're not willing to fail initially, you remember, Emiel, when you first started walking, your first steps you fell.
Right.
Okay, but your parents didn't say, "Oh, stay there, baby. It's okay." No, they said, "Get up and try again." And you got up and tried again, and you fell down again. But you kept trying, and you learned to walk, you learned to run, and now you can do whatever you want to do because you learned how to do it. It's a skill. It's all teachable. Okay.
All right, Dr. Jolley. We only have a minute left.
Right.
Is there anything you want to leave? Any numbers? I know you had the website.
I want you to go to williejolly.com. And sign up for check out my information there. Go to williejolly.com/free for your Think and Grow Rich book. williejolly.com/famous for your Wally Famous Aim, and then call Carolyn McCall. Get and come to this event. I'm gonna be there on the 12th. Come if you want to be a speaker. Go to nsa-kc.org. nsa-kc.org, or call her at 816-447-2198. 816-447-2198. And I look forward to hanging out with you, Emiel, while I'm there. Maybe we go get some barbecue, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I want to thank my guest, Dr. Willie Jolley. You have been listening to The Real Deal with Emiel. I want to thank my sponsors, MHG, and I will be here next week, same time. Thanks for listening.
Nothing like the ruling time to build our team so we can tell Dr. King we fulfilled your dreams. The origins of man can be traced back to Africa. The facts are indisputable. I'm black and spectacular. The facts are indisputable. Indisputable. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful.
The Real Deal with Emiel, brought to you by MHG, your local year-round trusted insurance partner. Let MHG help you for free.